Hello and welcome to Happy Foot Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug. And boy, was that a bad trip. If this is a drug,
And boy, do you need some drugs now.
starting to feel like it's not the best drug. Maybe we need more drugs. That's what
No,
it's
our
that
show
time of the
is
night.
no, Darren. That's totally wrong. Our show is the best drug. It was the game that was the
Okay,
problem,
good,
and the
good,
reason for the drugs. This is the anti-dare program.
good. Right. I am Darren Miller. I'm here with Vince LaRosa. That was El Tráfico, A Tale of Two Halves. The first half, the sky was the limit. The second half, the sky fell.
Mm-hmm.
A real thorough collapse there from the black
Yeah.
and gold. I I don't know. It feels like is it worth getting into what went well in the first half? Maybe we just skip to what caused why it fell apart. What do you think?
They're connected. They really are connected.
Okay.
Because I think if you look at that, you're gonna say like, okay, LAFC second half completely flat, and I agree with you. They were completely flat, but the onus was on the Galaxy to change things because the way Steve Cherundolo set up
Mhm.
his team and the choices he made, and specifically the choices in midfield that he made, I think that choosing Lewis O'Brien, Timmy Tillman, and Ilya Sanchez over someone like Edward Atuesta is definitely a choice, and it made sense when you saw the way they played in that first half. The midfield was everywhere. They were on top of the Galaxy. We've talked about this. Like, it's cool to want to pass the ball, like just in general. But the more you pass the ball, the more risk you take. And the Galaxy love to pass the ball and they love to take risks. LAFC love to take advantage of risks, and they did. They did it in that first half, and they did it through their midfield. Now, second half, like I said, Galaxy had to make an adjustment, and I think the adjustment really was like, hey, can someone wake up? Like, let's just get after these guys and really get forward because we have nothing to lose. And LAFC were flat. They were too passive. They were not as active as they were in the first half in terms of staying with runners and passing guys off. But I think ultimately, and I'll end it with this, and this is what I think the crux of the game was on, and how we think about this game going forward. It's this: LAFC can absolutely play against teams where they can play against the ball and they can win games when they play against the ball and they exploit teams against the ball, they can make things happen. But LAFC is still missing that aspect of their play of can they control the game with the ball? And that second half was crying out for them to control the game with the ball. With those three in midfield, it's tough to do. Lewis O'Brien, Timmy Tillman, Ilya are not necessarily control guys. They're all gas, no breaks. Let's go forward. Let's get the ball. Let's break up play. And then let's get into the offensive third. But when the Galaxy were just so swarming you in such a way that you could not do anything else, the next thing you need to do with a team that is so possession-wise, and the Galaxy is one of them, the Crew also one of them, you need to find a way to hold the ball and disrupt their rhythm. LAFC had no answer to that. And ultimately, that is going to be what separates them in a lot of games, or not a lot of games, in the tightest games, in the most important games between the best competition. I don't think they'll necessarily need this gear to get to the final. I think you could still play in a way against the ball with the talent that they have and get into space, and they could probably reach a final. But you cannot, when a team starts to get more of the ball like the Galaxy did, like the Crew will do, you cannot continue to play that way and just think that's all we need. You need to have a second gear. And that I think going forward, that's what LAFC should take away from this game is have some kind of plan to control the game in different ways besides just sitting back and then exploiting the space behind.
Yeah, that checks out. I mean, it's just really disappointing, isn't it?
Well, it's tough because there was moments.
This
Well,
is
there was
hard to watch.
moments. There was moments, Darren, where we've talked about this because we've done these post games
Yeah.
where like there was games leading up to Leagues Cup where we were like, oh wow, this team can play in possession and they're holding the ball and they're doing some good things. And then Leagues Cup, there were some injuries, and you understand why. Maybe they had to change the dynamic of the team, and maybe they were just gearing up because they knew they were going to face the Crew. It was weird to me. I know a lot of people were saying like LAFC just knew that they were going to face the Crew in the final. It's like that makes no sense. There was a lot of games to get to the final Leagues Cup, but it did work out
Sure.
in the way that it did, right? But we haven't seen them toggle that switch back at all. Like they really have not played in a possession game at all. I can count maybe 5 times where they kind of knocked the ball around and played in a possession away. Early in the first half, I thought that they were at least smart in like the middle third in getting it to the open man and then getting some space and exploiting it. But the amount of times that you see the Galaxy posted up with 8, 9 guys in and around the 18 versus the amount of times LAFC were posted up with 8, 9 guys in and around the 18 is staggering. And I'm not saying that you need to match them, possession for possession, but you got to have a little bit of that danger. You got to have a little bit of that in terms of being an elite team. And like I said, controlling games, especially when they're one-off games like this. There's going to be games like this, and there's going to be games where you're going to have to win in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, they really did lose the thread on all of that. That's a great sort of a breakdown of the tactics that would have been necessary to or the approach that would have been necessary to adjust and properly maintain control of the match. But on a similar note, I guess, like, they could have. I think there's also a world where they could have just like not blown it. They could have stayed the course and just not become like, you could see them completely deflate. Like it was a deflated version of the same.
No, there's a world
plan.
where they play just as well as the first half, and they don't even have to score. They just play just as well, right? They break up play.
Yeah.
They frustrate the Galaxy. But what I'm saying is when it starts to go wrong, at say even 2-2 or definitely 3-2, what can you do? What can you do different? And I don't know. I know a lot of people, and I'm seeing in the comments like they're going to blame Steve.
There's a lot of Delo hate going on, yeah.
But some of it is like, I don't know with personnel if you can really do that. Like Vatuesta's not playing his bench. That's the player that you need for possession. Look, Carlos is coming. He's not going to be ready for, let's say, a month. That's a player that can help you with your possession game. But right now, like the way that team was formatted and what you loved about them at the 2-0 at halftime was not a team that plays in possession. So you have to pick and choose. You have to understand, and you have to understand when Steve is putting this team together and his tactics together, he's saying, I'm playing to the strengths of my team on the field. So if you loved that 11 for that first half, that's what you loved. And
they're not going to cut it when the new when the new play comes in from the Galaxy.
When things go wrong, and let's be honest, when bounces start to go back the other way. So you get to 2-0, and you can say some of it is engineered, some of it's great play, some of it's the way they're set up, some of it's a little luck. Like LAFC finished their chances better than the Galaxy did. The Galaxy found a little bit of moments in the first half, and then Giroud hits the post. What if it's 3-0? It's a little bit different, right? Totally. And then in the second half, you see the Galaxy having some moments where they're getting a little bit further forward, but they're not really doing anything until Joveljic turns Eddie Segura inside out and buries that shot. And then Cerrillo, look, no one would have guessed that guy's going to hit that shot. Like, I like actually Cerrillo as a player. He's not hitting that shot all the time. So the Galaxy bounces start to go the way.
That didn't feel like – that felt like an unlucky play sandwiched by some bad defense on the before and after it.
Right. And as much as I said that's luck, that is also where having a different gear to your game and maybe your personnel changes things. Because if they don't have the ball that much, they don't have chances to just take those risks and just hit it and let it rip like Cerrillo did. And look, this was, for a neutral, awesome game to watch. Like the swings, the changes in tactics, the way things went for an LAFC fan sucked. But you watch that game and I think it becomes glaringly obvious. And I hope that that's what the coaching staff, and I'm sure, look, I'm not a genius. I think the coaching staff will go away from this going, okay, we can do this for so long in a game, but how else can we affect a game? And right now there's one method, and also it's not suiting Giroud. There's a reason why he came off as early as he did. So Carlos Vela, hurry up, get fit. Edward Atuesta, get your form back. I don't think I'll be curious to see what I honestly, for that first half, thought like, wow, this starting 11 is the best 11. Lewis O'Brien, Timmy Tillman, Ilya Sanchez, maybe Sergi instead of Campos. Campos had a tough night, but also, let's be fair, Hollingshead had tough nights on the left side too. So
he's had tough nights, and also Campos, I thought, was fine the first half, just like most of them.
Okay, there was a moment. I mean, the rest of the team picked him up. I think there was a moment
Yeah.
where I watched where something happened with Peck, and he tried to chop down Peck twice and didn't even manage to like foul the guy. And I was like, that scares me. The fact that that is what you have to resort to, like you're not
Yeah.
a defender. You are a guy that goes forward, and then you're a body. But yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly thought for a while this was the way forward. Like I loved the midfield. I loved how they got the ball forward. I loved how the three got forward. Like um when they scored that first goal, there was 5 guys in the box. They went from nothing to 5 guys in the box. And yes, Maddie gets a little lucky that it goes right to him, but there's Tillman and O'Brien both
Yeah.
backing him up.
Yeah.
But again, when things start to go sideways and you need to actually maybe just have the ball and take some sting out of the game, you can't. And the Galaxy just keep building, 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 and the spaces just keep getting bigger because that's naturally what's going to happen in a game like this. The emotions are high, the tension is high, the attention to detail has to be perfect, and yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. But I think in the long run, if they can take the lessons from this and improve on the lessons, I'm not saying that I don't know if they can. It will make them a better team.
For sure. Well, so to everything you've been saying, it seems like the big move from Dolo came. What was it around? I guess just after the goals, around the 60th minute, and it was Kamara
Mhm.
and Chanot, right?
Right.
So does that feel like what they should have done? Was it too little, too late? It obviously didn't exactly propel us to another turnaround, but I think maybe the red card had more to do with that than anything else,
I
with
think
the whole thing getting
unfortunately,
completely away from us.
again with Vela not close, Atuesta not on form, those subs were only going to give you different bodies and a different shape. It wasn't going to change the tenor of the game.
To
Like
me,
they were
it
going to.
seems to me it seemed like those are the guys that you want on to make an adjustment, but it felt weird to me that those were the guys we were taking off. I guess we did have to
Yes.
change formation, and that made sense.
It
But
felt
like,
more it felt more like, "Oh, it's 3-2, let's not let it get 4 or 5, 6-2, and then maybe we can nip a goal on the other
yeah,
side
okay.
because of the way we can go forward." That's
Because to
that
me,
honestly, that's what it felt like.
it felt to me like if anything, Giroud and was I guess Campos came out right. So yeah, we got to get him out. Segura and Campos both kind of got real fooled. They look like fools out there. Uh,
But Segura was filling spaces, right? And let's be honest,
he was
I
up and
love
down.
Eddie. I thought he had a great first half, tougher second half. He's your 4th center back. Like,
Yeah,
Chanot's not starting because he was on international duty. Murray's hurt. For your 4th center back to put in the kind of shift he did for the first 45 minutes, you'll take it, right? And I love Eddie. I think that he's a great player, but he's had 2 ACL injuries.
yeah.
Um, this is MLS though. You've got to sometimes make do with
You
the
got to
players
have
that
fun
you
with
have,
it.
and I think he
Yeah.
he did. Um, yeah, I know people are saying like the changes should have come sooner. Maybe, but I
That's
honestly
more of a
think that the
hindsight
changes
thing.
that they made were right, and when they did make them, it wasn't really going to change so much the way that they play. It just this team needs to go relearn the lessons they kind of did in terms of possession and in terms of the way they play the ball. It's easier said than done, but they've gotten it's like it's this toggle switch. It's just gone too far again, and they need to
Yeah.
range it back.
That
And maybe
really
Vela does that.
that really was their turnaround this season when we started like ass this season, and that was the big turnaround was we started playing in that style. And you're right, we've gotten back away from it, but yeah, it's just very strange how clear it was. It was so clear that that was the key that made us click. And
Mhm.
it just like I don't understand why it hasn't been pushed. We went on a stretch of like a few games, and then I think there was
I
like
want to
a game
reiterate
where it was like,
personnel.
yeah. But if we don't
Personnel
have the
and
personnel for it, then
circumstances.
why was it so successful initially?
No, you did because you had guys look, you had Atuesta playing. I think at that moment we were all back on the
Form,
Atuesta train. He was
yeah,
playing
form.
really well. Remember Timmy was playing really well and him,
And he got
Ilie,
injured.
there was no Lewis O'Brien yet. Tillman gets injured.
Yeah,
Atuesta's form starts to sink. You start to see a lot of things
yeah,
change. And so um look, it's both.
yeah,
It's a little bit of both, but I really think that you can't divorce the two. You can't say like, oh, it's absolutely him being Steve and the coaching staff making a choice to not play this way versus him not assessing his talent week in and week out and saying, this is what I've got. This is what I've got to play with.
Right, right.
Like ultimately he's trying to say, I think this is my team's best chance to win. The players are going to have to execute that. And if they don't, yeah, he looks stupid, but
So
he's
do
the
they.
one there. Yeah, he's the one there week in and week out. And
Yeah.
I will say this, at least I've seen coaches that in these moments throw players completely under the bus. I would say we should
He's
be
not gonna
happy
do that.
that
That is
at the very least he doesn't show up. But I guarantee you, just by having been around Steve a little bit, not in these tense moments per se, but I guarantee you that he's going into the locker room and then film on, it won't be tomorrow, but on Monday will be tense. Like he'll be pointing out the mistakes. The man gives you this cool, collected, like, oh, I'm kind of aloof. I think to protect his players, but he's definitely sharper in the moments that he has to be.
All right, Vince. I couldn't interrupt you because I was busy making
Sorry.
you repeat yourself a million times. But we got a super chat from Marco Ramirez. Thank you so much. He says, coming from someone at the stadium at the start of that second half just felt off. They saw something on video, Campos, and made the adjustments. Something I have yet to see Dolo do at any point. Fair
Well,
or
fair,
unfair? I don't know.
fair. I don't think that.
Dolo at any point, like obviously you're being hyperbolic there. Like obviously you've seen. I would assume you've seen Dolo make an adjustment at some point over the course of the season. But point
Yeah,
taken.
again, the onus was on the Galaxy to make adjustments. 2-0 at home at half against your rival. That's on
Yeah, you're
them.
not going to be like, well, let's do something different.
Yeah,
Second
let's do
half.
something different. Also,
and
everyone
yet we did go out there and do something very different.
No, I think the Galaxy got better at what they
Yeah,
did, and we got
it
worse
just
at
was
what we
quick.
did.
It
And
just got,
also, look, Campos. Like everyone knows Campos, and let's not forget who's on Campos' side. Their best player, Gabriel Peck, is on that side. Like they're gonna continue to play down that way. LAFC did their best to kind of buttress him, and I think Bouanga for the longest time was really helping out defensively. But there's only so much you can do.
And then that also contributed because I think he started looking tired because he had to do that.
Yeah, I mean he's come a long ways.
That was where I was confused. Was like Kamara should be coming in for Bouanga because Bouanga's got nothing left.
It's really
And
tough.
Drew still seemed like fresh.
If I'm look, I understand that MLS plays through international windows, and that's tough. And LAFC had to more so because they had a game postponed. But to put this game after an international window, and I would even criticize like tomorrow is going to be, and I guess it's one extra day, but tomorrow is going to be Arsenal versus Tottenham. That's a huge rivalry game. Like how leagues think like, hey, there's going to be so many players from these teams that are top teams. And of course, top teams have a lot of players going. Let's just put their game right after that window. It just seems short.
Yeah,
It really seems short-sighted.
really dumb.
But that's honestly.
Hate to interrupt you again. Sorry.
Oh, God damn it.
Super chat. Adam Shazin, thank you so much. He says, do you start Kamara and super sub Giroud?
I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. Right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like the reason why what I just said was kind of like hindsight is 2020 and kind of a dumb comment on my, that I made myself, which is like, yeah, you start. It's all like easier said now than done then. Who knows?
Yeah,
I still think we're just having trouble we know how to get Kamara the ball. At least we can't figure out how to get Drew the ball. We're starting like baby steps the last couple of games. But
well, remember when Kamara showed up and we were like, hey, Giroud's going to eventually show up and he's a better version of this. How are we going to get Kamara the ball? And we couldn't. And that was all in that process of starting to get a little bit more possession based, a little bit better on the ball, understanding the strengths of this guy. And then it toggled back the other way. So these are all situations and problems that they need to figure out. I don't think that they're absolutely fatal in the way that other team. I mean, they can't be. Look, this LAC team is still one of the top teams in the Western Conference. It's going to get a little bit more difficult now with only 2 games in hand and 7 points behind the Galaxy to get that top spot. But I think the schedule favors them. The Galaxy have a lot of games against teams higher up in the conference versus LAFC who doesn't. LAFC does have to travel to Cincinnati though. That's going to be a tough tough game.
Yep.
But again, if let's say theoretically they win this game, they go 2-0 up, they win this game. Let's say they hold out and they win 2-1, and they take away from this. And I don't think they would. I still think they would understand that like we need a better way to win games. But let's say they just take away from this. We don't have to do anything. This is great. This might be one of those moments where we say like, "Hey, this sucks. I hate losing to my rival. Thank God we beat him 2 times earlier in the season." But this could be one of those moments where we say, "Okay, thankfully they're going to understand, and not just the coaching staff, but the team as a whole is going to understand there's got to be a different way. We've got to find a different way, and we've got to do it now when we have a month left in
Yeah,
the
here's
season
our wake-up call.
versus to start the playoffs."
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a really important point. We need the games like this to show. I mean, we've had now a handful of games where it's like, look, the weaknesses are there, and not only are they there, but the teams can see them, not just in a game plan, but like in the middle of the game as an adjustment they can make on the fly. So that feels like the weakness is a strong enough weakness that like that's gonna be what people keep doing until we fix it.
Just become a more well-rounded team. Right now, LAFC is so good at one aspect of the game, or not one aspect, but just in this certain way of playing.
That was true until it
And
wasn't, and now it's true again. Like you
right,
said,
yep.
if they could just be perfect at every aspect of the game, I think that would be the ideal way to move forward. If
And
you
let's
ask
be
me.
fair, not a lot of teams are very good at a lot of different ways of playing. Like we saw the Galaxy not good at trying to defend transition, but then they just got better at the one thing that they do well. I think there really is one team that can play in a lot of different ways well, and that's the Crew. When they're on,
Yeah.
it's really difficult to beat them. But I think that this LAFC, we've seen LAFC do it a little bit. I think that they have it in them.
To your point,
I,
the Galaxy didn't even. I don't know if you would call that them playing a different way so much as just waking up.
Yeah, they just got a little bit better at what they did, and
Yeah.
then they had nothing to lose.
Right. We've got some callers that have been very patient. Thank you. Let's bring them on. Daniel, welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining us once again. Happy foot and sad foot. Can you muster a happy foot?
First off, that gave me PTSD reminders of the Zlatan game, the very first El Tráfico. Uh,
Fair.
sad foot. That was humiliating. That was
Sure.
unacceptable. Uh,
Humiliation,
it's
solid sad foot.
look. It you guys are right. The players shot the bed in the first after the first half, but it's the coach's job, and I believe this is all universal throughout all sports. It's normally the coach's job to keep the players engaged, and to make adjustments like when you have to. And at the end of the first half, it's kind of crazy in hindsight, but like I saw the momentum change. We were dominating that first half until the very end. Then you kind of saw signs that the Galaxy were kind of getting the engine was starting to finally come on. Toronto should have seen that from like a mile away. And personally, the fact that if I was Toronto, I would have made adjustments right in the dressing room right now. Because like when you see momentum from your opponent like that, you gotta quash it. Quash it before it becomes.
But what would they? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but what in your mind? What would they have been? Like a sub, or
Wait, just to clarify, what point are we talking about here?
Near the end of the first half, when the Galaxy started to get more shots on goal. So
yeah. But at halftime,
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to fight you. I'm just saying, but like, let's say, it just kind of is you at halftime. Are you making a sub? What are you? If you're seeing that, like, what are you thinking should be what he says? Because it's tough when you're up 2-0 away from home.
I think
all I'm saying is like,
do we have the solution, or did we at least tonight have the
solution? It was gonna be difficult. I mean, like we've had a weird mid-season of rough ride, but I would have leaned towards neutrals are gonna hate watching this, but I'm parking the bus, so I'm probably gonna make a sub on the line. So just tighten it up and just park the bus, hope for the best. It was going to be hard anyways. But that being said, I think there's a silver lining to this game. So prepare yourselves. I'm going to be the first to admit This is all going to come out of my ass. We've had a rough ride the last couple of weeks with Leagues Cup, international breaks, guys getting hurt, playing in hot ass, like ugly ass Houston. It's not been pretty. But with Carlos Vela coming back, I think the conditions are right for a big, galvanization of the troops. I think there's going to be a
For
big.
sure.
I think I have a gut feeling that Vela coming back is gonna re-energize that locker room. And despite the humiliating loss tonight, I think the Galaxy winning the West, which I think it's gonna happen. I think they peak this season. This is their peak. And I think we're gonna finish the season. We're gonna go on a late season run. We're gonna finish the regular season really strong. And yes, I'm gonna say this. From the first half, I truly believe this LAFC team, despite losing tonight, is the better team than the Galaxy. We are the better team. We are on paper and from the first half. So we're going to finish the regular season strong. And with Vela changing momentum, even though I have doubts in the past about his leadership, I think this is the perfect moment for a guy like him. We're gonna play hot into the playoffs. We're gonna go to MLS Cup in Miami on the road, and we're gonna win. That's
Wow.
my
Okay.
out of the ass prediction.
That was
But
a real
it
roller
comes-
coaster. I loved it.
It comes with a big caveat. If somehow we don't win MLS Cup like what I'm predicting, look, I like Dolo as a coach. I've been forgiving of him, but we're LAFC, and the expectation is different. If Dolo was a coach in Dallas, Dolo will be guaranteed 5 years. But this is not FC Dallas. This is LAFC. So if Dolo doesn't pull through, all these cup final losses start adding up. And if we don't pull through at the end of this year, it's about time to think we might need a different voice in that locker room. Just the caveat. But
It's fair.
I think, hot take, I think this is the wake up call this team needed. Good feeling, and we're gonna win it.
All right. I like the ups and the downs. Thank you for joining us as always. I think we needed the boost tonight. We'll see you again soon, I'm sure. Come back soon. The good and the bad there. The silver lining, I think, I think he's right to look ahead positively. I can see the rest of the season going any number of ways at this point. I don't think anything's ruled out. So
Yeah, it's hard in the moment, right? And this is really a tough loss because of the way it goes, right?
the timing of this on the season is,
If
which
it's
is to your point, it makes it even worse, the scheduling timing.
Yeah, but also just you're up 2-0, right? You're up 2-0 at half. The way that it goes is horrible. 4-2 flatters the Galaxy a little bit, but they really were the better team in the second half, and LAFC just never found a foothold. And so you look at that, and maybe you want to extrapolate a lot of things, but let's be fair. The team still is very much in contention for the top of the West. They're probably out of the Supporters' Shield, but we already said that was a thing. They reached Leagues Cup final.
Not mathematically.
Not mathematically, but they reached Leagues Cup final. They've reached Open Cup final. If those go sideways, yeah, that's another talking point. But I don't think it's one of those moments where you say like, "Wow, this team sucks." Like, come on, like, they sucked in the moment, and they also, honestly, for the first 45 minutes, you had the Galaxy shitting the bed. They're terrified, and I will say,
we gotta execute, like you're saying. Like, look, we're the level of potential that this team has is off the charts. And if you scrap everything and rebuild, let's say, the best case scenario is the same thing. And the potential is not what you need. You need to execute. I don't see how we can be in a better position when all you can do is like, I like what we could accomplish. You got to go out there and do it. And that's going to be the case if we have a whole new squad, if we have a new coaching staff, whatever the fuck it is. Like, they still got to go out there and do the thing that it looks like they're going to be able to do.
Soccer is literally one of those sports. And I mean, I'm not as well versed in a lot of sports, but I mean, I follow sports. Like, it is one of the hardest sports, I think, to start from scratch. So when everyone is always like, let's
sure.
just knock it all down and start again, I'm always like, well, maybe we just see what we have and build off of
Yeah.
it. And I think this is
I'm
a
not seeing a
moment.
lot of people genuinely suggesting that, but to your
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know, man.
People
I
are
feel
suggesting.
like
I
some
think
people are like, this is
I'm aggregating here.
yeah.
I'm
I'm
seeing
just saying.
some
I feel
people
like
saying Dolo out. Some people saying,
yeah. I feel like some people think
yeah.
this is like a legitimately bad team because of that second half, and I don't. Bad second half. 100% agree with you. Don't think this is a bad team, and think that this is a team that can be built off and can be better. I mean, the Galaxy would say the same thing after the first half. Like,
Right.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
completely disarray this Galaxy team just because of how bad they played that first half. And look, the proof was in the second half.
Working with this squad on not folding under pressure and folding in big moments seems like a lot smaller of a mountain to climb than like, all right, we got a new everything. Let's win now. Like
Right.
that seems like very normal and doable, and you just got to do it. If they can't do
Yeah.
it, they can't do it. Like that's being a sports fan. But like that's not a crazy unusual situation for a
Mhm.
team to be in. Like they should work on it and get better at it and then like win,
Yeah.
That would be great.
I want to make a like executive decision. Let's bring David on because he was going to be on with us yesterday, and we went way too long, and
That's true.
we kind of had him wait way too long. So
That-
I see you in there, Joey, but we got to bring David on because we it was our fault.
And before we do that, real quick, Marcos Ramirez, another super chat. Thank you very much. He says the way this loss happened hurts. Note then League Cup.
The League Cup.
Marcos has been drinking, and rightfully so. It seems from his grammar.
Yeah.
This
my
guess
in
at
Back
that
to
is
the Future.
my guess at that is the way this loss happened hurts more than League's Cup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, bring in David. We got it. Let's
welcome to the show, David. Thank you so much for your patience. A multi-night patience.
Yeah, you did it. 24-hour patience.
Yeah, exactly. Been awake for 24 straight hours. Remember, I'm in Texas.
Champ.
Shout out my Texas Longhorn.
Hook 'em.
Darren Vince, Dince, Varen Dince. Listen. Yesterday I was sober.
Okay.
Today, Red Cup.
That is Red Solo Cup. Now, what's in here? Send in your
tears.
Guess. It's a mixture. Give us a hint. It's a mixture. Yes.
It's not happy.
It's not a happy drink,
but it's a mix.
Okay.
But listen, look, I don't want to talk about today because Vince, you said it best. You said it best last night. You said Vela's back, and whatever happened tonight, it's a win. What I wanted to come on and talk about last night, and I don't know who runs the fabulous, the evergreen Happy Foot Sad Foot Instagram. And we were chatting. The Philly Monster closed it out perfect last night, so I did not want to break that up. But what Vela means to me, yo soy mexicano, obviously. Soy mexicano. I'm in South Texas, San Antonio. Vela is an idol. The real ones know. Craglitos, Carlos Alberto, Vela Garrido, he's an idol. He's an idol to me. He's an idol to my kin. LA 2018, the first goal, the assist to Dieguito Rossi, who's kind of a bad word now to us. It hurts. Vela's an idol. That's what he is. And there's three things that happened. One, I guess the MLS fixed the cap. We get him now, and I guess he accepted whatever the deals and the terms were. Two, we get Gris. Shout out to more French fries on the team. Big W.
French fries. I love it.
And I mean that lovingly. I will scarf down some French fries right now. And three, I think, as we all talked about last night, the proper closure, the entire Last Dance, the jersey swaps, the statue, everything happens for Craglitos Alberto Vela Garrido, the GOAT. My GOAT, your GOAT, our GOAT, everything. An idol, a Mexicano, the real one, a GOAT. But all that shit, all of that aside, fuck the. Excuse me, I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Please bring it on.
Yeah. Start again.
Fuck the Galaxy. That's where you left off.
All right, we're gonna go ahead. Wait, did I say FUCK?
I think you
Yeah,
were saying fuck the
you went hard.
Galaxy.
Fuck the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's where we were.
I left at 2-0. I filled back up, and when I saw that shit at 4-2, I said, "Well, Vela's back." So,
Yeah, it was tough.
but look, it is what it is. Vince, I have been thinking about you. Pause. I'd been thinking about you since last night when you had said that whatever happens tonight, we have Vela, we have the GOAT, we have the 10 back.
It's a good reminder.
Well, Vince is a great reminder, and you too, Darren. Darren, Vince, and Vince, Darren, Varen. No,
That's rolling right off the tongue. That's impressive.
I've been practicing that for 24 hours.
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
And then I think just to wrap it up for tonight, I definitely want to let you guys do your thing because you guys are my idols as well as Carlitos Alberto. Look, guys. Fuck, a great first half. I guess burn the tape second half. There's a whole month and a half. I'm a little nervous about Miami. They kind of went a little fucking wild tonight. But
They seem pretty good, huh?
Well, they have the phony GOAT 10. They may have.
You'd only have to worry about them
sure.
if we reach MLS Cup final, though. So
That's
let's
true. Yeah.
let's
one thing at a time.
let's shelve that for now.
The first time we got to talk, I told y'all I don't want to see Columbus again. Well, now add Miami to that as well. I Miami. However, the West runs through us, and we got 10 back. The aura's back. I think you guys said it last night. The heart and soul. I think just what bubbled up in the last 24 hours, what I got to see on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, from you guys, from the defenders in the bank. Shout out to them. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, guys. I got a homeboy, and he works for another Western Conference team, and I don't know what I can or can't divulge. He works for a team that plays in the Cascadia, and they play in the Providence, and they play in the dog park.
We're not even pushing you. You're just letting it go.
This is not super abstract. I gotta say.
Yeah.
You're not leaving a whole lot up to the imagination right now.
It is Greek. I'll put it to one last thing. Pitbull and Kesha sang a song. It's going down, and they were yelling. They're scared. They're terrified. They're saying, "How did y'all get number 10 back?" Well, listen, baby, we did. Whatever happened today, and whatever happens going forward, this roster, this team, I want to advise the rest of my LAFC Legion, because I'm in South Texas, and I know the rest of you guys are on the West Coast. Listen, shit, second half, we're back, baby. Book it right now.
All right.
US Open and the rest of the West, baby.
Let's hook up. Yeah.
Yeah. We're here for trophies. That's all that matters.
I love you, fellas, man. You guys do your thing. You guys are my idols, man. And the white boy too, the other white boy. I like him too.
The other.
We'll let him know.
Yeah.
Y'all shout him out.
All right.
We'll let him know.
Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, David.
And thank you so much for the support. I thought perfect call.
Yeah, nailed it. You always come on after a few drinks, and
that's what we want to see here.
Just let it roll. Like we just want you to lay it all out there. I will say this: he makes a good point, and whether the way you feel about Carlos or not, and I think we all feel pretty good about Carlos, and the Galaxy will know this better than anyone. End of the day, this was a regular season game. Like maybe it does have some factor on seeding, but we kind of feel like these two teams are probably going to meet again in the playoffs. And whether it's home or away, they know that, they're down the street from each other, and you're going to have to win a game in a difficult environment. So I just want to reiterate, not all is lost in this moment, because as much as you feel bad, there's lessons to be learned. And I think we've reiterated multiple times the lesson that I think LAFC should learn from this. And I want to reiterate again that I'm in no way saying anything that the coaching staff probably hasn't already been talking about for weeks. So we just, as fans, hope that something kind of changes, and they find a solution in a way to work with this team, to find a way to incorporate Giroud more, to control games in a different way, and to accentuate their ability to play in one way, which is very devastating. We have to continue to point out, like, this team can play in this way and get very, very far, but to get to the absolute peak of the mountain, I think it's going to take a different bit this year than it did in 2022. And I feel like the coaching staff knows that. It's one of the reasons why I think Carlos is back. I think if you didn't think that, you wouldn't bring Carlos back, regardless of how much you love him. I mean, he is definitely a different type of player, and could have been, if he was fit, a different type of player in this game.
Yeah, totally. And also, to your point, like, if we go 1-2, us and the Galaxy in the West, we get home field advantage till we face them. And if we're at that point, it's another derby match. And all bets are off, regardless of where we're playing.
It's a one-off. Regardless of where we're playing at, and it's like, I don't think it matters.
If we figured it out exactly what you're saying by then, then we will win.
Yeah, it's not like traveling to Columbus in different conditions per se. Like, it just doesn't matter.
Or this math also works from our good friends, the Lobbing Scorchers. They jumped into the chat. Thank you for joining us here. And they said it's okay, though, because you can beat Seattle, who can beat the Galaxy, which maybe that's a good way to play it.
Imagine if there's a matchup where in an early round, like a 1-7, or I don't even know how it works, like a 1-8 matchup, and it's Seattle Galaxy, and Seattle gets it over on the Galaxy, and we're just like,
yeah, they were good.
Well, we got this. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We'll take it from here.
Everybody listen to Lobbing Scorchers if you don't already. Subscribe to them. They're great.
Great reactions to us signing Vela, too.
Yes.
That made me laugh. They're good. Good guys.
At least follow them on social. Come on.
Yeah.
Joey, if you're still around,
come to the camera view. What are you doing?
What's up, man? Welcome to the show.
That is not a flattering angle.
The YouTube.
Well, no, that's true. It's like the monster angle.
This is some,
what is it? Are you in a child room? What is above you?
Yeah, it's a what do you call it? It's a
mobile.
It's a fake chandelier that's covered in dinosaurs and other toys.
I see some
but we do see the LAFC.
Well, if you guys were watching my camera, which I know you weren't, I was trying to maneuver it so that it would show up because, I wanted to have the flag in the background. Right. But I also thought, cool, it's an awesome fucked up angle. So there you go.
Yeah.
It's appropriate for.
It's good. Shoot yourself weird.
What might not be a great call, but I wanna say I missed the first 20 minutes because I was walking the dog, and Joey one bar walking the dog literally.
So this is your fault.
0 bars.
When you came back.
Actually, here I am. I'm going to take credit for it. I know that.
Hang on, hold on, real quick. There's something going on.
Darren has questions.
The last caller left, and you came back, and everything turned.
Wait, what?
So our last caller said he was watching. It was 2-0, and he was like, "I just took off." But then you said you just showed up.
And you did the opposite.
So we need to get you guys together.
We collectively are to blame. Our entire community here. We
need to find a way to get you two to synchronize better. You guys just didn't get the mojo right.
We gotta figure. You guys gotta get in touch and figure this out for the next match.
My wife is a lover of accuracy, and I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty about this, but I was taking credit. What? No, I'm not. I think I'm taking credit for jinxing the game because I did tell somebody in the Patreon chat to come onto the stream and dunk on Talk and Kirk Kinsey, and Kirk Kinsey gave me a good Twitter spanking for trying to celebrate Aaron Long's $1 million contract. So I do also have to, I think, withdraw my application as a spiritual advisor to the team, because if I fucking jinx the team, then I don't think that they're allowed to. I just don't think it's a good idea to have me as the team chaplain. I can't even chug LaCroix. I found out. Go ahead.
Oh no.
I was gonna say Aaron.
This is going downhill.
Not the problem. Not the problem tonight, though. As much as I know Kirk and
there was plenty of evidence on the.
Do not like Aaron Long, but I don't think it was on him at all.
Okay. Then I'm glad we can clear the air on a live stream. I hope that it's bringing in super chats, maybe from those guys, for all we know. But yeah, I don't know, man. Rough feelings. When they scored the first goal, I screamed really loud, and Cubby, my dog, freaked out. And I was like,
Always good.
Yeah, but I felt kind of bad. So for the rest of the game, I was pretty chill. Wow, take a drink. Is that on your bingo? Joey mentions his freaked out dog.
Oh, did
No,
we
he
just
just-
drink at the same time?
No, I think
Yeah.
Darren's just trying. I think Darren's just trying to get to the next can.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. He's like,
Fair
this one's
enough.
getting low. You know,
Yeah.
when you get to that bit where you're like, it's not warm, but it's not cold. and you just
Yeah,
want to get to the
let's
next
get
one.
through this ending.
I know,
Yeah.
I know my man. He knows
I
what he's doing.
appreciate the non-wasting though. That's really it's good man for chasing.
Oh yeah,
chasing the dregs.
you never throw it out.
I'm not.
No,
gonna
I know,
let it-
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
honestly, that might be a good object lesson for LAFC. Don't throw out a game that's not completely done.
And you brought it all the way back around. There
I
you
didn't
go.
We
mean
did it.
There you
I
go.
like
Did
an
it.
unintentional hot take.
And yet,
Uh,
maybe you should be spiritually advising us.
Yeah, well, all right, so we'll see. I did
if
go to my
there's any
car
way-
to get my bumper sticker. So
Get that
amusing
plug in.
views. There's the shameless plug. What were you saying, Vince?
I was about to say, if there's any way we could get you in there to do a team talk just once, I would love it. I just totally light introduction, just be like, hey guys, this is Joey. And you just walk in and be like, hey boys, I want to, and I would love it. I would watch that a million times.
Vince, I'm so honored to hear you say that. That gives me really warm feelings, and I'm going to give a little bit of Joey backstory. In the early days of my fandom, I started being a fan in 2019, and then, as everybody knows, the pandemic happened, and I used to regularly
what?
sign.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The what?
Sorry, I'm science affirming. We're
Okay.
still in it, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah,
a
everyone can have their
pandemic.
own opinion about it.
What
I
is it
guess.
now? It's not pandemic. It's
Yeah.
epidemic.
Oh no, we did
Endemic?
politics.
Endemic?
Uh-oh,
Yeah,
uh-oh.
okay. Sorry. Yeah, go back to what you were saying.
Sorry, but I would sign on to the LAFC Zooms, and I was like borderline legendary. Like LAFC Pat knows me from how crazy I was going on LAFC Zooms. And I used to bring a rubber chicken on, and I used to bring my trumpet, and people were like, who is this bonkers gringo? People told me I was invited to the cookout. People told me that after, when we started going back to games, they would buy me beers. I'm actually really happy that we're back in a world where the 3252 gets to do its thing and that we're not on Zoom anymore. But I just want to say, like, I was briefly an LAFC legend.
Amazing.
Yes, extremely hot take. Or, I don't know, maybe lukewarm. But yeah, anyways, I think I've rambled long enough. I love you guys.
No.
It was rough, man. And thank you for always, being the kind of weird mental health pod. I did have to listen to Car Talk on my walk because I have them downloaded on my phone.
That's a good palate cleanse.
It was a palate cleanse. Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
listening to some New Englanders was going to wash my brain, and then I was going to listen to Darren, who deep down loves New England but won't talk about it. So let's go walk.
I'm banned from talking
he's
about
contractually
it. There's a
obligated
heavy
not to.
gag order.
Yeah.
All
right. Thank you for joining us as always.
Yeah. Support YouTube.
Keep the legend growing. It's not about what the legend is. It's about the fact that there is a legend that grows. I think that was my takeaway from that story.
Not the best player in the league. Like,
we did leave.
Come on.
If you want to join us on the show,
you won one game.
Eric V. Hey, Eric. Hello again.
In a league,
there have been a few people in the chat I've noticed who have come to gloat. You are welcome to gloat. Anyone who beats us is welcome.
You
to come
absolutely are. But in a league where Messi exists, I won't even claim that Bouanga is the best player in the league.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's a completely ridiculous.
He scored 2 goals. He just came back and was like, "I got goals in me." Come on, the guy's ridiculous. Like, it's okay. It's fine. We don't need to hate him for it. Like, let's just be happy that we lived in this era. Like, think about it this way, Darren. There was, for the longest time, people were like, "Yeah, but you should have seen Pele." Yeah, we get to now be like, "Yeah, but you should have seen Messi."
Yeah,
from now on, it's kind of cool.
Look, I can't think of another team or player that is easy to watch that is not my team. That is just like I get to witness this. Yeah. Well, shit.
You know what? Ran into a roadblock there.
Yeah. Well, it's like, do you keep talking about Messi? I don't want to do that.
Probably not. He
you
doesn't
know,
need he doesn't need the publicity.
we didn't really, obviously, for good reason, we glossed over the first half. There are some happy foots on my list, and I feel like I should get them out.
Yeah.
The
Leave us with a
Bouanga,
good taste in our
the
mouth.
Bouanga Bogush Express is back in business, or at least was for a moment there. And I feel like
First 15 minutes. Strong.
there is a part of our game that utilizes and needs that, and like that doesn't feel broken, and that's a good sign when there's plenty of other things that are broken. What else? Bouanga goal was like a signature Bouanga goal. I don't know. We've seen him score in a few different ways, but like that's the way that he scores the most and most comfortably. And
rounding
we haven't seen that in a while, I don't think.
Rounding a corner where you're like, there's no chance he's going to get by that guy. Oh, he did.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he got by it, but now what? Because there's no angle. Oh, I guess he just scored. I guess he just pushed the goal button.
Just terrifies the goalkeeper. Crazy. The goalkeeper that knows him well, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I also thought it was fun to watch until nothing was fun. It was fun to watch. Whenever you watch players who don't have a lot of experience playing in a Ted Uncle game, it's fun to watch their reaction to his calls when they get called for something, because they're just like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
and it's like a little bit more surprised, more genuine surprise than any other player on there. Like O'Brien, Giroud, those guys, like they had the like you have to laugh reaction multiple times, and that was fun. By the way, the straight red seems insane to me on that play. Obviously, not
what's
that
insane
important
to
at
me
this
is
point,
that
but like
he was so quick to give a yellow and then so quick to give a red without looking. If he would have given a yellow and then looked at it and then said, okay, no, actually, I feel it's a little bit egregious, it's a red, I could kind of understand that. And then part of me thinks that like as quickly as he gave a red, that it's weird that they weren't like, hey, could you maybe take a look at it? It's not as bad. I could go, honestly.
It was crazy to me because he got the ball and then didn't change where his foot was going. It was just the continuation.
I mean, it's a painful one and it's bad. It's definitely yellow.
It's a yellow.
It's definitely maybe more than a yellow, but it was just weird. The sequence. That's the problem. That's a problem with a lot of MLS referees. And maybe this is just the modern game, but like they seem like they fuck it up and then they're like, oh, wait, hold on. And you're just like, oh, I have no confidence in you now.
Yeah.
Like exactly. I just don't feel confident in your ability to make that call. But end of the day, I don't think it changes the game per se. What does bum me out is now O'Brien misses a game, and I think he's been playing well.
Now he's necessary.
Yeah, he's been playing well, and I don't necessarily think he should have been out for that. But
also Tillman was down early for a while and got some magic spray, and I don't know, is he fine or playing injured, and now he's not in good shape?
I think he's fine. Well, that was the new rule. He was down for so long that they had. I'm now starting to at first I was like, I kind of like the new rule where like if you're down for so long, you have to be out. But this like arbitrary fact that Tillman had to be out for 2 minutes and then the Galaxy nearly almost score in that time when Fagundes gets that chance. It's like the guy was legit hurt. What do you want him to do? Just get up to get up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, it feels weird. It's weird every time it happens.
I understand the onus to change the narrative around time wasting. I don't think this is the answer.
Decent attempt.
Yeah. Good try.
But yeah.
Maybe keep doing that at lower levels before you bring it to the actual professional game, which again makes MLS seem like not a high level professional sport when you're willing to be the test case.
Your own guinea pig.
Things. Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. I'm looking at I know we've missed a bunch in the comments. We're trying to do a lot at once here. Kim Keepers with a great update on the table.
Oh yeah, Darren, how do you feel about this?
The most points we can get now is 69. Miami is already at 62 with the potential of 18 for more. I'd say we're mathematically out unless Miami crash and burn majestically.
Yeah, so we have 5 games.
Kimberly Keepers always with great comments, great member of the community, always great in the chat. Love that you're doing this and that you're here, but I gotta say that's not what mathematically out means. I'm sorry. I will not submit to this. We're not mathematically out. All you did was prove that we're not mathematically out.
She's making a judgment call. And yes, I think you're both right in this moment. I'm gonna lean more, but I'm gonna say
I think what she's saying is we will be mathematically out if Miami doesn't crash and burn majestically, which I agree with. Yes, that is true. That does seem objectively true. But
Darren's here. He's a
But-
believer.
well, we don't have control over whether or not they crash and burn majestically. They might.
Yeah.
These guys are old. At some point, the wheels might come off.
Oh, I love this.
If you take the spray, you get to play. Uproar.
Couldn't. Oh
Solid.
wow. Just
That's good.
That should be the new. That should literally be a law of the game.
There's someone in the Patreon chat too. I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting who it was who said this. That what was a Vince call? The Giroud goal should have been a goal. It was cool. It should count
Yeah,
because it was cool.
that was pretty cool. Like leaning a different way against his body.
Also, you know what? The rebound shot that Bouanga had right after that was an incredible save from
Oh
Dingman.
Yeah.
That
well,
changes the entire game.
going back to Tom Bogert. J-Mac,
Wow.
great shot.
Oh,
He's a great
fuck.
shot stopper. You know what though? It's not like
Wow.
it's not like Lloris had a bad game. Lloris had a good game.
He kept it. I mean, we could have lost by a lot more than that.
Yeah, he was very on top
or
of
maybe
it.
at 2-2, I would have said we could be losing by
I
a
don't
lot.
think.
We
Yeah,
could
I don't
be
think he
losing
had to
by a
make
lot,
any
but
big
we did
saves.
lose by a lot.
Yeah, he made the saves he had to make, and then had some good interventions where you're like, "Oh, just bail us out here."
Yes. And the first two goals they had were like completely unstoppable goals. So it's like,
but still wild to take a backup goalkeeper. Yeah. Although MLS Cup MVP versus a World Cup winning goalkeeper. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
There's just
I
neck
mean,
and neck.
which piece of hardware is better? Is a bigger deal.
Would he
Around these
trade
parts,
his
I
MLS
suppose.
Cup MVP for a World Cup? Who's to say?
Who's to say? I mean, it did propel his entire career.
Yep. Yeah, got him paid.
He got paid. Can't blame him.
Good for him.
I mean, you can blame him. Please feel free. What else do we need to cover here? What do you think, guys? Tell us in the chat if you're
let's
still
cover
not
this.
satisfied after this.
Not
Vince,
up
when
to
are we
me.
getting MLS games at Cosmo?
Absolutely not up to me. That's up to the people that make those kind of deals and allow these things to happen. Not up to me. Sorry.
My guess is when they can sell tickets and pack enough of the house
Make it worth it,
right?
First thing would be coming to an agreement with Apple to allow.
Oh, fair. Yep.
That's how that happens.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I suppose that's one step beyond just like, oh, we happen to have an Apple TV here, so let's put the game on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we have the technology. Cosm has some great technology. I think they can do that. But there's some other things that stop them from doing those things. But hey, it's fresh, man. I don't want to make this a Cosm podcast.
Hey, it can happen.
But we've only had 2 locations open for like 90 days. So give us some time.
Maybe we could do a live podcast there.
But I want to reiterate, just in case any Cosm people actually see this, I have no say over any of these things. I just update the website and write some copy. Okay.
So Vince, make the call, make it happen.
Yeah, but I'll take care of it.
Really important. I think we've made it to the part of the show where this is relevant. From Freddie Dominguez in the chat. Carson, not a walkable city, especially after a loss.
Depends. If you just consider Carson that just area of IKEA where there's like a Five Guys and there's a little like mini mall. I'm not saying it's the most extravagant, great city, but you can walk around that and you can get a lot of things done. You can get your house.
Are you technically walking in a parking lot?
Yeah. Yeah, you are. I'm just saying. I'm trying. I was trying. I don't know.
Wow, Vince, huge Carson apologist. You heard it here first.
I live in Long Beach, so I got to be careful.
Yeah,
I come into that. It's like a territory thing, and we're butting right up against each other.
Joel in the chat says, "What does Travis think about all this?" Travis, of course, could not be with us tonight.
He sent a text at one point that was basically "What the fuck," which
you're not going to get thoughts from him that are too different from the rest of us, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll find out what he thinks of all of it on the next episode.
Sure.
Which we will have for you. What's our next match? What are we looking forward to? Is there anything to look forward to? Are we dead?
We play on Wednesday.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, against Austin.
Unbelievable. Let's
Oh,
go
my
back.
cat! My cat
Let's
just sneezed. Oh no, I'm worried now. Is he sick? Should we worry about my cat?
cats
worried
do
about-
sneeze, don't they?
Oh, he's never done it before. No,
He's
I'm,
never sneezed. Your cat's never
I'm
sneezed.
lying. I'm lying.
I mean, now is the
Sorry,
time to
I'm
go back
drifting
to
into Mark Maron territory. I'm caring too much about my cats on a
Yeah, that's true.
podcast.
We are veering into the official silver lining here. Is there a chance we see a Vela appearance versus Austin? That's the thing to look forward to, I think.
Well, I would say this: the team has to officially announce it first. So let's start there. Let's
That's
baby
true.
steps.
There's not many days between now and that match.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. They have not officially announced it. They've done the hat box, so they have cops to the fact that it's something is happening.
Right.
So they will be officially announcing it. I don't know what's the longest we've waited between Hatbox reveal and the official announcement.
More than a couple days, and I know people get very, very upset when that happens. So
For lesser signings than Vela.
yeah, I don't know. After losing this game, would you begrudge them for just dropping it first thing tomorrow morning, or would you like
That's what
them
I
to
would do
just
if I was them.
yeah,
Let's
give a
get
little
that thing out there.
give a little air to it and then do it Monday? Either way, it's Carlos Vela. Who cares? He's the best.
Is that a home game for us?
Yes,
Yeah, so he'll be around at the
Yeah,
very least.
I would assume he'll be there at least.
And
He'll
it's
get
just
his-
like it's just a
his old
question of
tweet
is
back.
he there in uniform or not? And if he's in uniform, maybe he'll be on the pitch for a minute or so.
that
And
make
that would
me
be
very
cool.
happy. Yeah.
And it will be nice to see him. And it will be great if he can make some contributions because now we need him. How many games left? 8?
7.
7. All right. Supporter shield or bust. Let's do it.
Yep,
Anything
Darren
else
still-
before we
Darren
go?
still believes. Darren still believes. That's all. That's the tagline. Darren still believes.
Where's Messi? Messi who?
Yeah,
Suarez is pretty good too. Anyway,
he's okay.
I don't get it. I'll watch them. I don't get what it like. He looks completely washed and then just won't stop scoring.
Incredible finisher.
I don't get it. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of
Turns out-
it's the Jordan Morris phenomenon where it's just like that guy can't do shit. Oh, okay, fine.
Well, it turns out in this game, if you can create shots for a guy from close range and he's a
Yeah.
good finisher, he's gonna score
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, could use some more of that from our guys. Anyway, I think that'll do it for us. Anything else to say?
No, I got nothing. We've exhausted it.
That is unfortunately sports.
Yeah, there you go. That's unfortunately sports.
That's
baby.
unfortunately sports, baby. All right. We got another one. Let's bounce back.
Yeah.
The full
See you
bounce
all-
back hasn't happened yet. We got to make it happen.
See you all soon because games are now every 3 days for like the next month.
Yeah, and live streams we've added live streams, so we'll be back every night now. I love you. Bye.